but she stood the way he does, where his head is off camera.
Yes.
That's what would happen. Yo,
Yes.
Dapper Day on Sunday is gonna be rad. Let me tell you.
Stalker.
Dapper Day is gonna be good. Go to Dapper Day. We should talk about that on the air.
Tink and family are gonna go on actual Halloween and dress up on Disney.
Alrighty.
I'm still gonna go on Sunday. Okay. Skibet, please go to couch.
Bye, Skibet. I miss you, buddy.
Skibet.
Okay. Who's booty shaking in the back of you, Sal? My friend Skibet came over here to tell me some spill some tea.
Why not coffee? Oh no, you never spill coffee.
Some breaking news. Alrighty, let me hit some buttons here. Start recording. Very good. Starting. Okay, let's go live in 5, 4, 3.
You're listening to the Converted Podcast, the podcast about the Guild Convert to Raid on Airy Peak, US.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 159 of the Converted Podcast, the World of Warcraft podcast all about the Convert to Raid Guild on Airy Peak, US. Sal, Mysis the Shaman, why don't you tell us what the audience is in for this week?
In this episode, we have all your predictions for Blizzcon, your converted shoutouts, guild haps with Turarts, and Frazley joins us live.
Hello.
Hey, Fraz, how are you, man? It's good to see you again.
Oh, I think for having me back. I'm excited. When Sal messaged me, I was like, yes, because I love CTR, love the converted, and enjoyed the BlizzCon not the predictions, but the BlizzCon gatherings episode. That was great.
Well, we're super excited to have you here with us, buddy. I am Barfolomew the Paladin. Obviously, we've got Frazley in the ranks today. Turarts the Hunter is also here. T, what have you been up to this week?
Yeah, so it's been like a month since I've been on because Miles had pneumonia. So we'll start with Miles here real quick. So I went out to California, had a great time at the beginning of the month, and met a little girl about Miles's age. And so talking about it with Miles and stuff, like she plays WoW on her parents' account too, whatever. So he's like, can we play? And so we posed the question and ended up setting up a little play date for them Friday, a video game play date where they were in Discord just talking to each other, and they were in WoW, and they just hung out in Stormwind like 90% of the time. They tried to go in some portals, but were like, what is this? So they ended up going back to Stormwind. So a rule came out, just don't go to any more portals. Just fly on this continent, stay on this continent, you're fine. But what they did in Stormwind was they would transform into the Sandstone Drake or the Vial Sand, whatever it's called. One of them would hop on, fly all the way up to the maximum ceiling where the Drake starts to make like a weird sound and flap, and then the person that was on was supposed to hop off and just parachute down. What Miles learned is that if you like unmount, the person will still parachute, but then you plummet much faster and make sure you're over water. He only had to learn, like, have that happen once to learn it, so I was pretty proud. It was like, you can't, he's like, why don't you bounce? I'm like, because it's a game where you die. Like, you know this. You play games like this. You can't do this. But they had a lot of fun, and the next night, more of the same thing, and then they started making their own game within the game. Like, they would go to the map rooms and talk about armies coming, and we need to update this stuff, and they'd go practice fighting on the practice fighting dummies they have there so they could get ready for battle, and just inside this game that already has all this content, they're just making up their own stuff. Yeah, they were totally just RPing. And like Miles took her to, so two things real quick. Miles took her to King Barion's grave and told her that our king died, and then had me tell the really like hodgepodge story as I'm trying to remember like what happened with the Legion of that. And then the sun starts to set in Stormwind. And so she would be like, come over here. He goes, no, come with me. I want you to watch the sunset with me. And I awed so hard. I was like, oh. And he goes, Mom, we're friends. I'm like, whatever. Like, it's fine. But it was so cute. Like, I took so many pictures. Friday I just sat in the room with him. Like I just sat here just watching him. I'm like, well, this is dumb. So Saturday I actually cleaned and I'd come check on him. But yeah, he's just mastering this now. He has this down. Like,
okay, I'm with Bear Kitty in the chat room. Yeah, wow, gosh, Miles is just, I don't even know what's happening. Miles is just growing up before our eyes. He's already got a girlfriend.
I know. When I first started the show, Miles was 6 months old, and now here he is at 7. So not to like.
Man, it's been a whole month.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
7 months. Yeah.
He said, but that was interesting, and it's kind of funny because the little girl is a niece of Ash, and so when he found out about this, he's like, I need to give Miles the talk. I'm like, no, like girls are gross. Girls are totally gross in his mind. He's gonna be Batman when he gets older. Batman doesn't get married, so you're fine. So I haven't been playing much games. Like I've been doing WoW and WoW Classic, not really like accomplishing anything, just puddling around in it, and that's been fun. I have decided I am buying the Untitled Goose Game.
Ooh,
so
yes.
that's going to happen this weekend so that I can play it uninterrupted. And then, yeah, I went to California. It was great. It was low-key. We didn't do any Blizzard things this time. It was just Ash and some of his friends. Just hung around and barbecued and did all sorts of like fun, just low-key stuff. So
Nice.
I think that's my month. I'm pretty sure that's it. I turned 30 in there too. Like that's not a big deal. So it's fine.
It's kind of great. You're in for a great decade. I'm just letting you know.
That's what
off the top.
Everyone's telling me is that this is going to be a good 10 years. So we'll see. But yep, that would be my update so far.
That's a very, very good one.
Come wave. They want to say hi.
Also with us tonight, Sal Mises the Shaman. What's up?
I just want to tell Turarts. So she's all, oh, hey, Miles is on.
Miles.
Hey, Miles.
You gotta go lay down. You're lay down, my
I
bed.
love his lipstick.
Yeah.
He has the brightest, reddest, most beautiful lips.
What?
So, gosh, just
What's
hearing all that and seeing Turarts online, like getting upset about being 30 on Twitter, and I was like, are you kidding me?
One whole one.
30s kicked 20s butt, big time. Like the best times I ever had were in my 30s.
What?
You know, like mid 30s were just like peak good. So yeah, that I can't wait for you to, you know, look back and say, hey, Sal, and everyone else, literally, you were right.
I think right now, once I get through this divorce, it's going to be a lot better. That's just a really big cloud to have over your head, I'm learning. So, like, if you're ever going through divorce, I got you. But I think once that's done, like, it's going to be much better. But no, that 30's been okay so far. I will tell you one thing. I don't like beer, but I drank one without gagging yesterday. So I don't know if it just magically happens when you turn 30, you can tolerate beer. But I was like, huh.
Drinking beer without gagging is definitely a 30s move.
That was an exciting little tidbit that I was going to share. So, yep, that's been 30 so far.
You watch out for that beer though. You get used to it, you start liking it, and then you realize it's got more calories than anything else you can possibly drink. And
truth.
Yeah. But so right before the show, I went and got like 3 inches cut off my hair, and it's a lot shorter. Well, it's 3 inches shorter than what it was, and it's a lot greener. It looks black in this light, but I washed it a few times before BlizzCon. It's just gonna be like green. So my head hurts right now from the bleach. You know, the things that women do, I swear. But I did that and like ran here and like, oh, it's time for the podcast. Let's go. Oh my gosh. But I am getting ready. I'm getting pumped for BlizzCon. Going to it. In game, I've been trying to get that B mount. I've been farming stuff, and I will admit that I did buy some of that jelly, that thin jelly. You go in the auction house, you can buy it. You can buy this mount, basically. It will cost a lot of gold, but it is possible to buy. Thank you, Tinkerbell. Listen, guys, our chat room is totally popping right now. We got all kinds of stuff. I'm going to call out, Cuddles happens to be in the chat room. You're not supposed to call out lurkers. I know this, but I get excited when I see that.
I mean,
I totally get excited.
You broke the stream code. I mean, and now tomorrow all the Twitch Illuminati is gonna contact this Twitch account and be like, sorry, you can't do that. Nuh-uh.
That doesn't bother me because we're on T's login right now, man. We'll do whatever we need. It's all good. It's all fine.
So yeah, I have been having fun, playing, and it's fun because I play at the same time that Navox plays, so I can totally see, whenever he's Cuddles with that check mark next to his name. Look at that.
Oh, I'm so jealous of that check mark.
Is now chatting in the chat room. I don't remember what I was even saying just now till I saw Cuddles.
You were getting jelly about bees.
You get your jelly about your hair, did.
Yes, that was it.
Hey, Miles.
Oh, Yuramaro. Oh my gosh.
Pause your show and come here a second.
What you guys doing? Gotta do this when I'm climbing into bed.
Two things. First of all, there's nothing stopping you from watching this program in bed. Secondly, we live in the age of the internet. You can totally do that. Secondly, it's because of technical problems. Yeah, streaming live, baby.
And there's also a download. So if you miss it live, you can listen to the download. You can tweet the Converted Podcast Twitter, so that way they know that you listen to it.
Well, I'll always take a live Euromaro over a
almost done, just a little bit more.
The late one. So thank you, Euro. It's nice to see you. Nice to see you in there. I was talking about Navox. Navox is now in the chat room. So I tend to play at night when Navox plays, and Navox is such a troll, man.
Take your glasses. Take your glasses. I love you.
He'll be in general chat. He'll be in guild chat. Just nothing Navox says. You can. Well, the thing is, the worst part of it is he's such a troll that whenever he tells the truth, I don't know if it's true or not.
That's good.
Like someone asks a question, and then I'm like, I don't know if I can trust it. Wait a minute. Navox is just putting in the chat room now. Sal is bad at DPS. You know what?
Is it true? Is it not? We'll never know.
He hasn't seen my DPS in a very long time, so my DPS could have improved or unimproved. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. But that's that's me. Barf, I would love to know what's been happening with you.
I haven't really played a whole lot of the video games in the last couple weeks, but I'll tell you what I went and did. Audio listeners, you're just going to have to take my word for it. Video listeners, please enter my home and observe my place.
Nice.
We went ahead and went to a local place where we could buy some frames, and we framed up a couple of posters that we had been keeping. Like this one here and this one behind my head are both from BlizzCon 2017 that have been sitting in tubes since then. This display cabinet over here, we got at a thrift store for like a song, and the figures in it, I put some pictures up on Twitter, and actually Silver put a lot more and nicer pictures on Twitter, are our collection of the DC Unlimited figures. They're like these really high quality statue looking Warcraft figures that we have almost the entire collection of, and they were sitting in boxes, like in the package, with like Illidan's wings taken off and like the succubus's tail in her pocket and all these like different things were like no. So we unboxed everything, completely ruined the collector's value of all of these things, put them all together, posed them, put their little arrows in their bows, and stood them all up in the light in the glass case. Really, really excited about that. I feel good about this room now, the same way that I did in the previous studio room where all the Naruto, oh my god, where all the Mario stuff was up on the walls and everything like looked nice. I felt like I had finally moved into the room. Now I feel that way about this place. It's all nice. Over here we got right here. There's a Wrath of the Lich King poster that has just been, I've had it in my house for forever from the expansion. Yeah, and like she's got a bunch of like the whelplings, the stuffed whelplings, and the I think this was a charity pet, was the griffin and the wyvern that you could actually get like plushies of. We have those going. The whole place is all blizzarded out. It's super nice. Yeah, that's the one. Frazley's got one on camera too.
An in-game pet and an out-of-game pet as well.
And I know this is really quality production for the audio listeners, but that's the gaming thing I did this week. It was like we really took some time and put this place together. So please feel free to jump on YouTube or Twitch and take a look at my lovely studio room.
The only thing is, didn't you learn Barfolomew from Dexter's Laboratory? NRFB, never remove from box.
No. See, I disagree. I disagree strongly with this sentiment, although I did watch that show and I enjoyed it. We figure we're the end users of these figures, these toys. We
Okay.
figure we're not going to like eBay these things sometime down the road. These are staying in our house until we melt. Like they're not going to go anywhere. So they may as well look nice while they're sitting around instead of being boxed up and like on shelves. No, Nav, I don't want to eBay those. I don't want to do that.
Speaking of plushies and Silverbolt,
yeah,
I learned the hard way not to go to the Dark Moon Fair Adoption Center with Silverbolt.
Yeah. Or
because we could
do that.
Or do that?
Or do that.
Well, it depends on how long you want to stay. She's like, oh, hey, let's check these out. Cool. 7 minutes later, I was like, I am overdone looking at these plushies. They're cute. But then suddenly she's talking to an artist about whatever.
Yeah.
And 45 minutes later, I'm like, we're still at the plushie place. She knows more about these plushies than anyone else. And Barf had just got up out of his chair to go, I don't know, grab a plushie or turn the light on with his cabinet or something.
Now, I want to talk about Silverbolt. That after Silverbolt's first time at Blizzcon, I remember just that them gushing about meeting that plushie artist at the Dark Moon Fair and how like oh wow, audio listeners, there's an amazing artist.
No, it looks like, is that Velen? It's a statue of a Draenei paladin.
Oh, you're
right. Looks
like
Velen. Not Velen, but a Draenei paladin.
It's Murad.
It's Murad.
I just lost all my lore points.
The Velen's a priest, not a paladin.
Well, I mean, Arthas would have been dressed like this with the big hammer and the billowing like blue cloak and the big book, but like all of these are this detailed. Like you can see the individual rings on his armor and
oh wow, and they detailed his pelvic area really nice.
Well, it's an important part of the Draenei. We all know this. We've all seen the female Draenei go running by.
Okay. So we talked about all that. Let's get Barf back over here. And we'll head on. Just for the audio listeners, Barf is returning Murad to his trophy case under its proper lighting.
Yes,
yeah, it's a little bit of a trophy case, actually, a little bit.
And he was wearing the gloves to put it in there correctly and turn the air conditioning temperature.
No, man, everything's got fingerprints all over it. Mostly to upset the collectors.
Okay.
Well, what about you, buddy? What have you been up to?
So I have been working on the allied races for the Mechanomes and the Volpopira because I am probably not making Fraz a Mechanome because you don't get the blue hair. But I'm still working on. I figured I'll roll an alt and get that, and then been prepping for Saturday. So I've been doing push-ups because Sunday because I am on the Pod Before the Con panel that 6 awesome podcasters will be on, and I'm like, Ro, are you nuts? Are you crazy? But as Ro said, you've been on Frazlecast and you asked guest questions and stuff like that. So you'd be perfect for this. It's a large Frazlecast that may possibly be on Wildhead or something like that. I'm like, okay, but he didn't say that. But I'm inferring that because Wildhead's promoting Con Before the Storm, that
the Pod Before the Con.
Yeah,
is that this Sunday? That happens on in this weekend? Yeah.
Yep, October 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And yep, it's Ali, Tosh, Garrissar, Berserker of Unshackled Fury. Keep your swords wet and your banners high. Frosty and Clanker Arcady of Tarn and the Goblin.
Well, you obviously got on there because you were on some podcast. It's been a minute since we've had you on the show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your podcast?
So I've definitely been taking Frazley to a lot of different people. Like Pat Crane was on there at Pat Crane and Thistle past
I
weekend.
saw that.
It was a blast. And like, do you know how like their convert to raid stuff? I think a lot more stuff goes on before and post show because they are crazy in a great way. But like the episode was great, but when you get them talking and all that, like they're making each other laugh, they are true BFFs. I mean, if there is a amazing friendship in the Blizzard community, that is Pat and Fist. It was awesome to see that. And then I've had different people like Draven, so I finally pronounced that one correctly. Just a lot of different people on, and enjoying meeting people, seeing the stories on, and like learning about what makes people tick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't just do your own podcast. You had an appearance recently on one on Unshackled Fury, I hear?
Yeah. So for their big, I think it's episode 60, and the same episode that they launched their new artwork, which is amazing, and that was a fun episode. We talked all about BlizzCon predictions and just we're geeking out. When you get 3 warriors in there, just a lot of rage and stuff like that. I mean, because despite our rage, we're still just warriors in a cage.
I'll tell you, I really liked that episode. And I was like, it's really good to have like an actual like podcaster knows what the heck he's doing, like on Unshackled Fury. It was a nice change. It was a nice change.
Ow.
I say that Navox is in our chat room now, and you know, obviously a friend of the show and a contributor as well. But that really is one of my favorite podcasts because it's so different.
Oh yeah,
it is warrior centric. It is, believe it or not, intelligent, and I don't know. It's a different perspective than anyone else, in my opinion. There's a lot of podcasts that are kind of the same things, and Unshackled Fury is really doing something unique. So I know I say this, you know, a lot, like, hey, listen to Unshackled Fury. Honestly, I legit enjoy it more than I do most other podcasts.
Miles,
it's not
quiet,
just because
please.
I like the guys who run it.
Is your show done?
Well, Navox and Berserker have an amazing.
Okay, is it almost done?
I mean, just like you see them play off each other so well, and plus, who doesn't love Berserker's voice? Now Navox told me this. How you doing, Navox? And in the forums we had some rage and stuff like that. Well, I see that, Berserker. I think it's an amazing job here, and I think you know what's really cool about this is how that one person down here missed this one part. Yeah, Navox, that's an amazing. I like that observation, and like I don't know how they just play into the rage sometimes. I mean, you have to sometimes know that they're being sarcastic sometimes, and I love it. It's almost like the screw tape letters of Blizzard podcasts.
Yeah. I don't know. Berserker will sometimes get in on those. You know, like he'll like research, you know, legal stuff or whatever, and like contracts and stuff. And he's the only one who like really goes into that. Hey, the chat room is exploding right now because everyone just watched the new Star Wars trailer, which apparently just happened. The last Star Wars trailer. So we'll have to watch that after the show.
So Sal, real quick, we're gonna edit this part out or whatever. I forgot.
We don't have to.
We don't have to.
It wasn't in the recording. I didn't hear it, so it's not in the recording.
Never mind. We're safe. Never mind.
Well, I mean, first rule of podcasting, never watch a trailer. I one time was started watching someone sent me a link on YouTube while I was streaming, and it went. I was like, oh, gotta stop it.
I had to mom real quick, but also I want to very upsetly say that I lost a member of the stay at home during BlizzCon, sit on our couch in the pajamas and drink cheap like whatever community, because Frazley's not going to be with me anymore, and the stay home in your pajamas and drink cheap whatever.
You mean I can't wear
an oath
pajamas
right here on the show?
What'd you say?
I will require Frazley at some point to be chilling in his PJs with a drink at some point when I see him in California.
Okay, I will make sure to pack some pajamas. So
okay, very good.
Is there like a dress code, or are you allowed to wear pajamas out in public?
Stop! Wait a minute, Frazley. Can you confirm or deny the fact that you will be joining us at BlizzCon?
I can confirm it thanks to the community, thanks to the generosity of Christy Golden, Tosh Mifune, and Crushinator, and the community's outpouring. I am going to be at BlizzCon this year, so I'm ecstatic. I'm excited. I'm also nervous because last night I was asking this some different like tips and like I got to remember all this stuff. I'm like, okay, don't want to blow it. Don't want to blow it.
You were asking tips from Thist?
Yes.
You have to be very careful what advice you take from Thist. She knows BlizzCon. She knows what she's doing at BlizzCon, but like, understand the source of the info is all I'm saying. I'm just kidding. I love Thist. She would never steer you wrong, ever. That's not something she would do.
I am so looking forward to meeting you in person, and we didn't expect this, and this is something that I saw people talking on Twitter about this, where Christy Golden, author of our favorite WoW books,
yes.
Who now officially works at Blizzard, or it has for a couple of years now. She's like, hey, I've got this extra ticket, and I know that you didn't necessarily get it from her, but and she says, could someone nominate someone awesome for this? And so many people brought up your name, and all these people that I didn't even know brought up your name, like Frazley is positive guy who can do this and da da da, and I was like, wow, wouldn't it be cool if Frazley came to BlizzCon? How you are.
I was looking for all the airfare, and I was like, okay, let's find the airfare, find the hotels, because I was saying even if I didn't get the ticket, I was still going to come out, because at this point I got to my nerves to the place where I was like, okay, I can do this, I can make this work. And then I got the ticket. I was like, okay, so no, I won't be in the Starbucks eating a pumpkin spice cold brew. You know, you cannot get pumpkin spice in your normal drinks at Starbucks. It's now only in the cold brew. I've got choice words for Starbucks.
No way.
I was trying to mobile order a Starbucks, and I could not add pumpkin spice because
what? Why anyone would limit the availability of the pumpkin spice is beyond me.
I know. I think that is like the worst victim of the pumpkin spice season is the fact that we cannot get pumpkin spice. No, there are K-cups now. I've actually been going to Starbucks less. So they've not been getting my business. I've been boycotting Starbucks and doing K-cups on my walks.
Frazley, I just don't believe you. I just don't believe that the PSL is out of Starbucks.
Or at least in the mobile app.
Cold brew.
The mobile app doesn't let me add it.
Okay. And DK Rise in the chat room says McDonald's can put it in anything, and their coffee tastes better. Oh,
and it's cheaper.
Snap! Yeah, it is a lot cheaper. Actually, McDonald's coffee's consistently good. It's because it's always fresh. I mean, so is Starbucks, but yeah, I do like it there. I'm looking forward to it. Now, you are famously a gnome. You're famously someone teeny tiny, right? But I know just by talking to you that you are actually humongous.
Yes, 6'6"
tall wise.
Yes. Well, no, I used to be humongous also in the weight wise. I used to be 333 pounds. So
that's right.
So that's slimmed down, but the height's not slimmed down. Though I did hear.
Big congrats on that, by the way. Big time congrats.
Just I did walking and stuff like that, so definitely Fitbit. I endorse Fitbit, even though I'm not an affiliate. I should be a sponsor. I've got people to buy Fitbits and Impossible Whoppers.
Yeah. So I can't wait to give you a hug and like my face come to your belly or something. Like you're so tall, but you're playing gnome. I don't know.
Well, because I don't like being tall, so that's that.
Okay. Well,
I say we cram him in an Uber and make him eat Korean barbecue with us.
Done.
Yes. Okay, all for it.
And the other thing that's going on is that Frazley's actually wearing a Powder Puff Girls costume at the moment. But all you see is that you're wearing a tank top. You just look like you're from Florida, man. Okay, now I see that it's a dress.
Now I also have to wear gym pants when I'm doing this because.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
It is not tall enough.
A little bit short.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're super happy. We're gonna be seeing you out there, and we will be demanding of your time.
Oh, I want to give as many hugs as I can to everybody. So I'm that's the part, because I told somebody I've been a voyeur of BlizzCon for years. Like ever since I started podcasting, I've been looking at tweets, being like, oh, there was 2017. I saw a picture of Pat. I think Silverbolt actually took the picture and uploaded it to Twitter. I wanted to reach through that screen and just give Pat a big old hug right there. So
I bet you Pat has a hug for you this year.
I hope so, because I'm like, I want to give him a huge hug, and this told me that it's okay if your butt cheeks are vibrating.
What?
That's what this says. This said that when she met Pat for the first time, her butt cheeks were vibrating. So
I can't comment on that, actually. So I'll leave that to Thist and to Pat to be their own kind of separate joke. Okay, well, our show tonight is all about BlizzCon predictions. And chat room, you've been putting these in the chat room all night long, and I appreciate that. We did get them. Go ahead and continue with your BlizzCon predictions. Yes. So, we're here to talk about that, and BlizzCon happens in a week and a half. Like it's imminent. It's happening. We've got predictions from Twitter. We've got the chat room. I definitely want to hear from our co-hosts tonight. But first, it's hard to talk about what's going on with the upcoming convention without acknowledging, the controversy that happened. Right after I posted the show 2 weeks ago. We couldn't comment on it. It was just overnight when this happened. I'm sure everyone listening knows the story of Blitzchung and his pro-Hong Kong statement after a Hearthstone tournament in Taiwan. After Blizzard eased off on the initial punishment, there are still protests planned, and that will no doubt color this year's con. It will. It's going to color it one way or another, depending on what happens. But in fact, we don't have a schedule yet, or a floor plan, or an updated BlizzCon app yet. This time last year and the year before and the year before and the year before, we had all this. We knew it was going to happen. We were able to kind of plan our days and understood. Like there was stuff that said like TBA on there, but we kind of knew what was happening. To me, all signs point to last-minute decisions being made ahead of an imminent press-heavy community event. Now, personally, I've mentioned a few things on Twitter. I was able to speak at length on the Dark Moon Herald podcast yesterday on the subject. So if you want to hear like what I really feel and like talking about it for 20 minutes, the Dark Moon Herald will be out really soon, and you can listen to that. But what I really like to do right now is open the floor to my friends here to express your opinions or to make a statement if you'd like. Barf, I know that you and I talked a little bit before the show, and you had some thoughts.
So I agree that it is unusual that we have so little, such limited information about what's actually going to happen on the show floor at the convention. And yeah, typically by now we've got, the map of stages and, a basic rundown of, at least a basic rundown of what we're expecting to have as far as panels and whatnot. What I will say is that I am really, really hoping that the reason for this is that Blizzard is deliberately kind of playing things close to the chest in order to keep some big announcement or some series of big announcements secret for as long as they can. I don't know what they have actually like complete, like all the Hong Kong controversy completely aside for a moment. I don't know what they have planned as far as announcements for upcoming projects in World of Warcraft, upcoming projects perhaps in Overwatch. I know that we're probably expecting something about Diablo Immortal and possibly more about the Diablo series in general. I know there's a lot of community excitement about these franchises. So under normal circumstances, in a year without some of this other baggage, I would have been like, oh, this is going to be the BlizzCon. This is going to be the show, I still have kind of my my fingers crossed on that. I prefer to try to look at these things on a more a more positive light. So that's kind of where my hope is as far as the reasons that we're not seeing some of these things. That being said, I have heard that there is going to be some protest presence probably at the convention center somewhere. Um, I think it's important to remind everybody, if you're going to the convention but you feel this way, that way, or the other way about what the circumstances are around the controversy, keep in mind that it's perfectly um, legitimate. It's perfectly not hypocritical in any way to feel poorly about something that an executive level decision that was made at Blizzard shouldn't interfere with your vacation that you spent a lot of money on. That you like to bail on that would be ridiculous. Your chance to see all your friends who maybe you only get an opportunity to see once per year, if that, your opportunity to do all these sort of community things that we've always really prided ourselves on doing well. um, I don't think that any of this should stand in the way of any of those fun and lighthearted and uplifting activities. So I just wanted to put that out there, remind everybody that this is whatever happens, we're there as a community, so let's be there as a community.
And Barf, I wanted to bring up a point that you brought up on Draven's Epic Fail podcast back when we had the layoffs, and I was kind of going through mixed emotions on Blizzard, and you brought up a good point. Blizzard has, it's not the company, it's the people, and when I'm going this year, I'm going there for the people. I'm excited to see where the game's going, but as everybody's told me, when you go to BlizzCon, you don't remember anything about what you hear. You're watching that on the next day, or you're watching it on the plane ride home. But you're there to experience the people. You're there to enjoy those people that you've come to know. And Blizzard is now the community to me. And whatever a executive did, it's not my. It will not affect my enjoyment of the people there.
Um, Having never been to a BlizzCon and also not going this year, um, my I did not know that they were late with the floor plans and stuff until I saw it on Twitter. So to be quite frank, starting about October 1st until the week after BlizzCon midweek, I kind of block all BlizzCon stuff because it just sucks not going, except for the stuff I have to do with CTR. I am completely out of the loop for the most part. I will find out the new expansion, I'll find out a new game, but otherwise I wait and watch everything after I've gotten over my little personal pity party. As far as things being late, I remember the Overwatch year, there was some weird things going on when they announced that, I think, or maybe it was Hearthstone, or maybe it was Heroes. I know there was weird stuff because we had an officer talk about, what do you think's happening? What are they doing? So it could just be that. I also do think with the threat of protesters and in the world we live in nowadays, they may be doing it as a safety feature so that people can't organize or whatever. I could see that side of it too, but I'm more of the, this is just keeping things under wrap because it's going to have some epic announcements this year.
There's a few people in the chat room have chimed in. Cuddle says maybe there's no app yet for the same reason there was missing a banner one year. New graphics or whatever, and whatnot. I'm with Barf's theory here. Let's see. DK Ryan says he's posting this everywhere. Protest Blizzard, not its fans or general employees. I think that's a pretty common. I think that's a pretty common sentiment there. Leo Wild says, I think it is the calm before the storm of big announcements. Well, sorry, that has nothing to do with the but I do agree with that. That we're going to have a bunch of announcements. Probably in at the con. Actually, there's a Heroes of the Storm something coming tomorrow, I believe. But Bear Kitty says this shouldn't interfere with other people's vacations. Cool. The thing is, there are planned protests. There's scheduled protests. Like literally scheduled. Okay, protests are going to happen. There's nothing wrong with protests. I mean, from a vacationer's point of view, it shouldn't necessarily keep you from doing anything. Like peaceful protests, sure. Okay. Now maybe Blizzard doesn't want to have that, but that'll happen. We know that there's going to be one that's more funny. There's a lot of people on Facebook talking about wearing Winnie the Pooh costumes to the opening ceremonies. If they do that, maybe Blizzard can't show everything on live stream. I don't know. And then obviously there's people from Hong Kong or in support of Hong Kong who are just going to be there protesting. Okay. Now they're not going to be, I assume, I don't know. They're going to be stopping people from going in, but they're going to make the presence known. That's right. Tiber, aka Tiber, says, I would expect most protesters will happen outside the BlizzCon security barriers. Other than the Winnie the Pooh costumes, I agree. I agree with that. Now, the thing is, Blizzard has created in one way or another this kind of this storm of activity and negative feelings, and people feel different ways. I'll start off. I'm going to start off predictions. Okay. I'd like to know what we think will happen in light of this controversy. What will happen at BlizzCon in light of this controversy? Chat room, I want to hear from you. What do you think is going to happen? CTRraids says that he's got family in Hong Kong, so this is something that he takes personally. A lot of people do. I want to hear from you. I want to know what changes to the con do you think will happen, if any? Do you think we're going to get a schedule? Before the con happens? Would love to know. Like we haven't even been told when you can pick up your tickets yet. We haven't had kind of basic information. I'll start. I betcha Blizzard starts off with some kind of mea culpa. Whether it's at the opening ceremonies or a couple days before, whether it's another statement before, or if or if J. Allen Brack is standing on stage and he comes out and says, "Boom, here's what's going on. We have taken away all penalties for Blitzchung and the casters. We are going to rewrite our rules so that they're more specific. And moving forward, we're going to have these rules. But, and here's Blitzchung right now on stage. Come on over." I bet heading into this that we start the BlizzCon with these penalties being taken away completely, but with the idea that the rules are going to be more specific moving forward, more spelled out moving forward. Yeah, to me, that's the only way Blizzard can mitigate this negative, all this negative stuff that's going on, and all these people who feel so bad about the company that they've put so much trust in, and the stewards of their community. If you want people to feel good about BlizzCon, that's what you're gonna do. I'm not saying I hope. I do kind of hope, but I predict Blizzard needs to do something else to get ahead of this, in order to bring it down, so we can talk about what BlizzCon is really supposed to be about. That's community and kick-ass video games, right? That's my prediction. I would love to know. I'm gonna turn to you guys right now before we turn to the chat room and Twitter. Twitter really hit us up with this one. I would love to know if you guys have predictions.
I kind of agree with something that CTRraids said a moment ago in chat, where if these things are not addressed right off the top, and kind of even if they are addressed right off the top, they're going to open some kind of Q&A for, we're going to answer questions about what you guys want to know about the lore of our next upcoming expansion, World of Warcraft, Rise of the Murloc Army. And people are going to get in line and go, yeah, I have a question about the Hong Kong thing. And like, it's going to be completely apropos of what's actually happening at the Q&A. I think that's, someone's going to try to do that, if not full on succeed. The same way that happened, you know, at the Diablo Immortal Q&A and those sorts of things. I think without addressing these things in the way that you described, they're kind of setting themselves up for more PR problems.
And where I see it, especially in the Q&A, I think they can do the Q&A if they say, hey, we won't let you ask the questions. We will have you submit the questions, and we will say who it's from, or we'll just say the question in general. Because I think if they can moderate like that, because if you look at even some of the big presidential debates, the question they're asked, the person doesn't ask them. They're sent in by, and then the moderator of that panel is the one to ask the questions.
Seems like the smartest way to handle it.
You know, wow, the chat room's really going into this now. I love our community here and how everyone's talking. The other thing I'm going to predict right now, and I don't know, maybe this is not BlizzCon. Maybe we know about this later on. But I predict that esports will start having a tape delay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Every sports team in the country, every sports event in the country has some kind of delay, whether it's a 10-second, 30-second delay, whatever. But esports don't. I bet that starts happening. That's go ahead.
Even for like most live software, you can add in whatever delay you want, and then you can cut it off in the software. So I mean, it wouldn't be hard technically to do it.
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. Barf?
I don't really follow the esports scene all that closely. Has there been a problem with cheating?
No, cheating.
It's not cheating.
One of the universities held up a sign during, and they were in the audience at a place, and Blizzard had to immediately switch over. Well, not had to, but they made the decision to switch away from them immediately.
Gotcha.
Well, even what Blizzcon said initially, could have been taken away with the tape delay. So so those two examples definitely could have been taken away with the tape delay.
Oh, I'm going to predict virtual ticket's going to have a tape delay for audience doing something.
That's a good prediction. Virtual ticket, yeah. That actually makes a ton of sense, Frazley. Okay, well, we can definitely put more talk more about that. But from Twitter today, DK Rise, who happens to also be in the chat room, says if they're smart, they'll address it in the opening. Otherwise, Q&As will be a crap show. I know at least one YouTuber that shelled out $3,000 to support a protest. Whether or not that comes to fruition, I have no clue. We'll see. Anyone else want to do this next one, T?
Yeah, so Tiber, nobody's going to be able to bring signs or sign-making material through security into the con or hold up signs at the esports events. I could see that. Yeah. I know there's other people that have done that before, too.
Well, and looking at the banned items on BlizzCon's site, a lot of things are banned. Like, you can pretty much only take a purse or a small bag with you. You can't take anything, and large containers are not allowed because in the past, Navarre had gone to BlizzCon and he had taken a poster tube to get free posters, and that's no longer possible.
I could see that one, though.
I will say that in the esports areas, in the past, there has been places where you could make your own posters, and they give you the materials.
Nope,
Yeah, they
that
have
one
that this year.
Well, yeah.
I feel like the tape delay solves that problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it could.
That reminds me of when I was in prison and we were taking a picture with the prisoners, and one of them put up gang signs, and the officer was like, "No gang signs."
We're gonna dig into that story later on. But Barb's face right now. Okay. Cuddles says, I'm upset no one was willing to protest when they put Viking dog behind a gate you needed a badge for. You know, maybe we need to figure that out.
Jenny Flynn, 1986. Probably a lot of May stuff in support of the Hong Kong Blizzard controversy, which I could see. And possibly the odd person trying to make a statement during one broadcast or another. Though, without being insensitive to the issue, I hope it won't be too bad so others can still enjoy the event and a reunion with lifelong friends and family without it being overshadowed by this controversy. BlizzCon is more than just a bunch of fans thrown together, which I think is kind of what we said before. Like, this is the employees there didn't have the decision. None of you guys were involved in this decision at all. And you've spent lots of money and time, like, planning this. It wasn't like it was last week. This was May-ish? April?
So also from Twitter, we have Griefing Golem says Winnie the Pooh everywhere. I'll admit I went on Amazon looking at Winnie the Pooh stuff myself. I probably won't. Just because I want to get in. I don't know. But I do believe there's going to be some Winnie the Pooh onesies rolling up. So in the chat room, and I've been trying to get things from the chat room tonight, and we've had some great comments tonight. CTRraids says they will drop Q&As if they don't address it in the keynote. I'm there with you, CTRraids. The thing is, they've always had like these entire, like at least one entire panel of Q&A, and they've also had. Hey, Turarts, are you still able to hear me?
I am. Talk.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, sorry, my Discord it just kind of went black. Okay, so they've always had this, but they've also had Q&As at the end of other panels. Do they get rid of Q&As altogether? That's weird. That's totally weird because they've always had it, right? Do they do something weird? Do they get rid of Q&As at the end of the smaller panels, but only have the one big panel with the Q&A? I don't know. How do they handle Q&As? Now they've always, well, always, I don't know, the past several years, definitely they've had pre-approved questions, but that doesn't stop someone from saying whatever they want to say. What Barf brought up before is an excellent example that the red shirt guy, not the red shirt guy, but the other red shirt guy that said, hey, is this an April Fool's joke about Diablo Immortal? Is this an April Fool's joke? What's going on? And then we got you know what happened. So that guy didn't approve that. He approved a different question. He got a different question approved and said whatever he wanted to. What stops people from doing that?
And I think that would actually stop the other thing that people have always been upset about at Q&As is people mention their guild name there and add time to the Q&A. So I think if they cut away the people asking it, they can get more questions into the Q&A, because it always seems like there's more stuff that they never get around to.
This is the first part of my 17-part question. I want to know why Thrall keeps having a different haircut every expansion.
I'm a level 110 shaman on Airy Peak, Selmisis. Shout out to my guild, Convert to Raid. My first question is, nobody cares. Literally nobody cares. But still, CTRraids, that is, they have to do something different with it with the Q&A. They have to adjust something. I don't. Yeah, Tinkerbell. I want my Overwatch Q&A so I can rage on the reporting system. It's because Tinkerbell keeps getting reported. Anyway, Cuddles says, I think they ignore it and blatantly ignore/block any questions on it. If they lift the bans, then they do it quietly right before the con, in a press release style. Okay, so Cuddles is saying if they do lift the bans, they're going to do it in like a press release, like talk to the press. I mean, that I don't know if it should be quiet, to be honest, Cuddles. I think that they do another release, but they make it super public. And the reason they make it public is to mitigate the protest and mitigate like all the negative feelings. You want it super public. You want this mea culpa. But I think that you've got a good point. Leo Wild in the chat room says maybe they could do it like the Q&A streams. Have people at the con and through virtual tickets submit questions ahead of the panels, and they could select and approve questions that they answer themselves. CTRraids says that a press release also makes sense to him after the the letter to Congress we had, a letter from Congress we had earlier this week. Okay, I think the chat room is really popping right now. Really has a lot to say on this. Let's go ahead and wrap this part of the predictions up. So, any final thoughts? You Barf or Frazley or Turarts?
I am not going to try to fight to be at the front of the crowd this time because I don't feel like being in line at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
I will be having a more relaxed vacation this year.
I got to the front of the stage for the Here's the Storm stage last year, and I rolled up half an hour before the con started.
I'm tall enough that wherever I sit, I can see the stage, so I'm good.
I hope the dynamic doesn't change for the con. Even if there aren't protesters, I feel like some people are going to be on edge just waiting for something to happen. So I really hope that the dynamic doesn't change for the con and that people are still able to have a good time.
Well, okay, so there's other stuff that we want to make predictions on, right? So we just talked about the thing, the big elephant in the room, and we all got our stuff out. And I hope that we were able to give a voice to our community from Twitter and in the chat room. But now, what I really want to talk about is get to some fun stuff. Announcements. What announcements are we predicting from BlizzCon? Frazley, you are like clapping your hands, ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. I want you to go first, please. What are your predictions?
Absolutely, a WoW expansion that is going to come out no matter what, and I think that if there's no WoW expansion, then WoW podcast won't have a lot of news for a little while because we'll be like 8.3. But yeah, I think we're gonna see, and like we're gonna see something that we don't expect. This is the 15th anniversary of WoW. I think there's gonna be something big. I mean, just
right.
There's a lot of cool things coming with it. I think we're gonna see mobile definitely this year. I think mobile's been a big thing, and it's a cash cow that Blizzard has not really been doing. I mean, Activision has been king of the Candy Crush and stuff like that, but they need to be king of the World of Warcraft Crush and stuff like that. Oh no! Oh, wow, a WoW dating simulator, or even what if they turn Battle.net into a Tinder where you swipe left or right on your battle tag friends. But yeah, so I think definitely that. I also think Overwatch 2 is a big one. I think we'll see something about Overwatch this year. And then if they don't put Diablo 4 at all anywhere in the announcement, I think they're going to get a lot of people that are going to protest over that.
Yeah. the I can't speak. That will definitely have protest if that happens.
The Hong Kong protesters all just turn their signs around and it says, "Why not Diablo 4?"
Yeah.
Also, no mobile Diablo.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. Do we have a release date for mobile Diablo?
No, I actually was expecting it to be out by December of last year. I mean, I was expecting it to be out soon because they had people sign up for it at BlizzCon on their site, and we've heard nothing about it.
Okay, well then I'd like to predict that the announced date for Diablo Immortal will be on Friday the 1st.
I could see that, and they could even do it like Destiny. Because remember when they gave everyone Destiny 2? That was like a keynote thing. I think the smart thing would just be say, "Hey, and by the way, here's a press release: Diablo Immortal, ready to go." Don't even put it in the ceremony.
Yeah, I think it's an opening ceremony announcement that all right, guys, it's done. Have it.
What you got, Turarts?
I definitely when I did the Blizzard tour and talking to Tara and Gregory, the WoW team knows what they're doing. They have stuff planned out well beyond what we are even thinking. Like, I'm not imagining myself playing this game at like 50, but I think they have it planned out to that point. Yes. I would say definitely a BlizzCon expansion, because I don't think we're killing the big bad guy in 8.3. You can't go anywhere else with this, and they've set it up to possibly who our next big bad guy is. We'll see how that goes, but there has to be a change. I am curious to see how they address the faction situation with this war being done. Like, how is that going to work? Heroes, I really hope Heroes get some love for sure, especially after like the canceling of all the tournaments and stuff last year. Like, I'm kind of interested to see, because the Heroes of the Dorm, that was from my understanding, kind of a bigger part of BlizzCon. Like, people hung out and watched it, and you had the bracket thing that you did that people were super serious about. So not having that, like, I just feel like Heroes need some love. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that can be. Overwatch, I don't know if there's going to be a 2.0 or a new, I don't know what they could do with that. Hearthstone, it'll be interesting to see how they address it with everything going on. I do also think we're going to get some new things dropped. I think that Blizzard is expanding, and maybe teaming up with Activision, don't get into your opinion on that right now. Everyone has one. Maybe they've worked together on something that we're going to see a little Blizzard Activision action together. Maybe it's just a completely new direction that we can't even imagine yet. Maybe it is a Candy Crush game where you get to like match Arthas's skulls and something. I don't know. But I do think there's at least one thing in the works, and I'm hoping it's going to be something good. I'm not going to like say anything other than that. I'm just hoping it's something good, but that's what I would say.
I'm hearing from you that you think there's going to be a new IP.
Yeah, no, I definitely do think there's going to be a new IP, and nothing that was said at my tour gave any indication to this, but certain things were blocked off, and certain, like, just, and not interactions, but things like people walking in the hall, and like you couldn't go down certain like corridors and things. I just, in my head, after that tour, I had set up that no, they're doing a complete, like, there's a new IP, they're buying more buildings so they can have more space because they need more space for it's just, it in my head it makes sense, and it's nothing anyone said. I have no inside knowledge, nothing at all, but I do think with what I gathered from the tour and the things that we were told with the adding buildings and office space, there's something coming.
So you're saying Disney's buying Blizzard?
I wouldn't be surprised. And then that way maybe we could get a Blizz World.
Ooh. Yeah, I want to go to Blizz World.
Yeah.
Disneyland.
And I may be completely wrong off on this. It was just the way they were talking about how the campus has been built. And if you ever get a tour of the campus, please do. The way they were acquiring things, it really makes me believe that there's something in the pipeline coming. Whether we get a full working, like, this is coming out on this date, or it's just like a glimpse of here's some like rough sketches and a few things and this is what we're working on. But with everything going on, I do think even if they have rough sketches, they're going to announce it. They need something positive to try and bind the community back together again.
Yeah, and even build a new fan base for the new IP. I think the IP is definitely something that some of the articles that have come out from different things that Blizzard is not done with what they have.
No, okay. When I say IP, I'm talking about something that's not within the realm of any of the stories or games that we have now. So the Hearthstone was not a new IP.
Overwatch was, though.
Overwatch was the first new IP since the Vikings game.
I think we're taking out of WoW. We're going out of everything. We're going somewhere new. What that looks like, I don't know. Are we still in the cartoony world of Blizzard? Are we more like getting into some Activision combination things? Is we going to find out the real reason, like maybe this happened? I don't know.
It would be so like Blizzard to release a game on the Epic Store that Activision Blizzard doesn't own, but only Blizzard owns.
I don't think that's not a thing, man.
I'm just putting predictions.
That's not a thing. Tinkerbell says revive Ghost. Okay, let's go to Twitter here. Ms. Turarts, could you help me out?
Yeah.
I'll start with the first one from Crab People. I love Crab People. Okay, he says Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 will get announced. In terms of controversy, hopefully it is addressed. Probably won't be. Someone will ask it in the Q&A and get kicked out of BlizzCon. Also, hope to see Sal at BlizzCon. Crab People, I will see you at BlizzCon.
Jonathan Bloom says, "Can't wait."
Bloom. Wait a minute, that's Frazley.
That's Frazley. I know.
How many Twitter?
Never heard
how many
of him.
Twitter accounts do you have?
Jonathan Bloom, Frazley, the Frazzlecast. I got a few others.
Okay.
Jonathan Bloom, with us here today, says, "Can't wait to listen. I predict the Normagon will be mentioned once during one of the panels at BlizzCon." I think that is probably a good prediction.
Just because they know you're coming, buddy.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, like Karen Gregg would be like, and there's Frazley and gnomes. Okay, done.
At Vel Twitch says more character customization, a new expat expansion, and 8.3.5. Okay. Probs no new allied races and a raid for 8.3.5 that leads us in, and no new allied races, comma, and a raid for 8.3.5 that leads us into the new expansion. Okay, so they think that we're gonna have like maybe another raid, like maybe a mini raid for 8.3.5. That would be cool. I'm gonna go ahead and predict that our last raid is coming in 8.3.
Ever?
No. And the next raid after that will be, in the new expansion, which we will hear about at BlizzCon. My predictions. I think I hope we're gonna get Diablo Immortal just like dropped on us. Okay, like, and you can download it now. I think they don't mention it at all.
You think it's under the rug, kind of just?
Yeah,
I could see that.
My other prediction is another mobile game of some sort, probably having to do with an existing IP, but I think mobile games are in our future, and we hear about a mobile game. Frazley,
Blizzard's cart.
I just had a thought. What about cloud gaming? Blizzard's banned outside cloud gaming services. What if they have their own cloud gaming? Be like, you get your Fortnite and your PUBGs on mobile. You get your all those mobile WoW clones that we've killed, because we're now giving you WoW through the cloud on your phone.
Dude, okay. I mean, that's a lot, man. I mean, WoW is a very big game. I could see. Okay, we're getting. I was gonna say an RTS. I mean, we know that Warcraft Remastered is coming out, and I think something like that could go on your phone. I think an RTS makes sense on a phone.
Yeah.
But I will say I believe that we're gonna get a super imminent, like, and the PTR is out now for Warcraft. The one I was just talking about for the Warcraft Remastered. Reforged. Thank you. I think that's gonna like come out in some way, shape, or form during the con. I bought a new phone ready to play Immortal because I liked Immortal last year. What's up, new phones? And I'm ready to go, but I don't think we're gonna get it. I think there's too much negativity.
Having that, and I really hope we do. Having that and Mario Kart that I could use while I'm standing in line waiting to do something would be perfect.
We've got zero beta.
Yeah, zero beta. I mean, like, because Warcraft 3 Reforged just hit the beta client for the CDN, so that is closer than we are with Immortal. And there was an article that Alessandra brought up a while back that they are still looking for a senior game producer for Diablo Immortal. So that game may actually have been scrapped, or it may be being rewritten.
I want Immortal. Obviously Diablo 4 will be announced.
Yeah.
I mean, the gnashing of teeth and wailing that will happen. There's no way we don't get a Diablo 4 announcement.
Oh, and Bear Tiki is saying some of them might be in alpha. So, ooh, that breaking news.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go into the chat room. Draven a while back says BlizzCon predictions: a WoW expansion, Diablo 4, new IPs, most of which are mobile. More with the new IPs, and at least one Hong Kong from someone at a Q&A. Want to hit the next one?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Vili. My WoW predictions are patch 8.3.5 leading into a new X-Pack, more character customizations, I'd be down with that, and new X-Pack dealing with Light and Void. So, that's exciting.
Bear Kitty said the next WoW expansion is the Burning Crusade. Maybe the next classic expansion, man. Okay, Leo Wild says the new WoW expansion will somehow involve both death and changes to how functions work. Maybe a new faction.
Tinkerbell going into the Overwatch predicts Overwatch removes the reporting system, removes hard encounter heroes, and allows team voting kicks to replace stupid reporting system.
I just think that Tinkerbell's probably been reported too often, and yeah. Sorry, Leo Lloyd, how factions work. You did correct yourself in that. Sorry, the chat room is on to us this evening. DK Rice says a WoW expansion Diablo 4 HOTS gets Deathwing. I'm gonna predict HOTS gets Deathwing tomorrow because they're announcing something in HOTS tomorrow.
And wasn't a picture of a dragon that they released on Twitter? Like
yeah, with a scratch across it, and they've been doing all this like crazy Deathwing, this kind of stuff. So
the thing with the scratch across it was originally from the shoot, I'm showing my Overwatch noobishness. Who's Diva? It was originally from the Diva video, wasn't it?
That's right.
And that was when everyone was like, "Ooh, it's Deathwing," and no, it was just Diablo being bulky.
Something's happening tomorrow in HOTS. Now, why are they announcing something with HOTS tomorrow, a week before BlizzCon? Probably because they don't want to talk about it at BlizzCon. So like everything that maybe they don't want to talk about HOTS at all at BlizzCon, even though there's something cool coming out. That's cool. So we're going to no, man, no, dude, no. They're just not going to talk about HOTS.
Gets a 2.
So let's see. Vel Isella says more character customization, a new expansion dealing with Light and Void. Yeah.
I'm going to Tinkerbell again, maybe an Overwatch movie, but Pixar style, giving full backstories on all the heroes and then campaign mode to mirror the movie.
Ooh, he wants a Pixar movie about Overwatch.
I'd watch it.
Is that a want or a prediction? I don't know. Tellenroyd says they're going to Oprah that crowd and play on the "you all have phones, don't you?" and then say no. We'll say then look under your seats and you get a phone and you get a phone and you get a phone.
Finally, Leo Wild. I think there'll be a new IP too. I'm going to say the least likely one is probably Tellenroids, and that's below Tink's reporting system, which is surprising. Like, it'd be nice, but surprising. All right.
I really hope that we do away with like the hard Horde versus Alliance limitations, man, because the Alliance is the better faction. Let's be honest. The Alliance is the better faction, but the Horde have the better races. I just want to play with my friends, but be the right races. That's all.
I guarantee there's a change in the way factions work. I guarantee.
That's all I want.
So, since I'm not going to BlizzCon, I'm going to ask this question. Every year, BlizzCon brings new things, exciting things. So, Guildie stories. What dirt do you think we're coming home with this year, and about who?
We're going to find out how well Frazley holds his liquor.
Not well, because I don't drink.
That's my entire prediction.
Oh, okay.
on Twitter tonight, today, Navox says, "I predict Sal will get wasted." Come on, man. I know I don't get wasted. That's never happened.
I'll be there.
What, wasted? Or next to me being wasted?
Both.
Both. Yay!
Just keep shoving water. That's what I do. Keep shoving everyone water. They'll be fine.
I'm immune to all diseases. I got my shots. I'm good to go.
Yeah, I just had all the diseases.
Right there.
So
I can't get sick. I can't overdrink. I'll never have a hangover again. That's what that flu shot gives you, right? Immunities to all those things.
Exactly.
Sure, man. Sure. I was really looking forward to some people saying some crazy stuff. I was saying on Twitter that the Tinkerbell's finally going to get to know Megacone's mom. Yeah. So, or hopefully Sal will go full sushi kinsman mode since Tinkerbell. That'll never happen.
That's
a one-time deal, man.
From the videos I've seen, that was a level of drunk that only those who have been doing it for a while, can. And maybe Sal's like that. I don't know, but that's a level that only like the tier can get to.
I'm more likely to get into that realm if in like a private party. Like last year we had a cool we were at Vash's room, like a hotel party.
That was fun.
There was like 20 of us. It was amazing. That in that situation, yes, but not at a bar. Not at a bar. No way. So, do you guys have any predictions about how are we going to have any memes this year coming out of CTR?
I'll make memes. I'll do anything I can to make memes.
Is Nagus going?
I haven't heard otherwise.
That cat's a meme machine.
Ooh.
He accidentally creates great stories.
Oh, he creates stories that we can't talk about on air. That was amazing. Is Grand Nagus going to BlizzCon? I need to find this out.
There'll always be some kind of fun stuff going on there, especially with so many CTR crew happening. Psst, any other dirt dishing you 2, 3?
I might get dirt on my fingernails.
I are going to be the two best looking people at Disneyland on Sunday. Just to FYI, everybody.
I'm
Sunday for
going
DizCon.
to Disneyland with you.
Yeah, I know, but you're not going to be one of the 2 sexiest people there.
I'm gonna look good.
I'm sure you will.
Sunday.
I'm sure you will. What I'm referencing, by the way, a lot of people go to Disneyland on Sunday after the convention is over, which is great, but also it happens to line up that is when Disneyland is hosting what they call Dapper Day, which is where you go dressed in like your Sunday best. Sal was telling me all about what she's going to wear. I haven't told anybody, and like Silver and I have an idea, and it's going to be a lot of fun, but we haven't told anybody. You'll have to see the pictures, but it's going to be dope.
And Skibet's gonna wear that Elantra on Sunday.
Gosh, I hope so. Is Skibet going?
Skibet might go. We don't
demand an
don't
update
know.
from him now.
Yeah.
Be like, yo. She's shaking her head and she's muted and she's trying to like talk and drink at the same time. Water, presumably. Maybe.
Definitely.
Tell him to stop talking so you don't have to be muted the whole time.
Yeah, that's just it. Yeah, I've got someone in my home this week, and that's why I've been muting so much. So
Mysterious
Skibet.
Planning around this. So with the mini meetups, check out the CTR and AIE Discord and Twitter accounts for info as it comes out. Hopefully we'll get a schedule maybe this week sometime so we can start to just pinpoint a couple things, because I know badge pickups is something we want to do. We want to go have some like food and some drinks at some places, but without that schedule it's kind of hard for us to schedule around their schedule that they haven't scheduled yet. So there's that.
Thanks so much, Turarts. That's right. We will have this information. I might just get it filled out without having the schedule, and we might not do a few things that we wanted to do. And that's unfortunate, but we're getting to the point where we just have to have it. So we're gonna have that information for you on both in both AIE and CTR. I'll be distributing it, and look for it. Anyone who's going to BlizzCon, come with us, come meet us, come hang out, and we're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, there's going to be updates all over the Guild Discord, Guild Twitter, making sure everybody's aware of what all is going on. Before we move on to the next thing, I want to say, cut all that. All right. Thanks, T, for that update. I forget where we were. I lost. I'm going away. Bye.
No, come back. I'll have to cut it now.
Yeah, I don't know. So I was gonna say I was gonna transition into this thing, but I don't remember how T ended.
Okay, so go ahead and where it says part 3.
Now it's time to take care of just a little bit of business.
All right, we're going into the guild haps with BlizzCon being the focus right now. So many people are going there that's the focus right now. We do have the CTR anniversary coming up, and guys, it's faster than you think. We are now 3 months away. 3 months. That's it. And Thanksgiving's there, Halloween's there, Christmas is there. It's going to be January before you know it. Besides that, I am looking for 2 more event planners, so if you are interested, hit me up either in Discord or ctrguildevents@gmail.com. Other than that, really just check the Discord, check the guild chat. People will do random events and post it in Discord. And I've seen in guild chat people running things and doing stuff. So if you're really looking for something to do, post it or just watch the guild chat. You'll find something to do. CTRLFG was getting a little action the other day too, which is a channel in the retail. As for Classic, again, people are still leveling. We don't really have any events happening right now. People are kind of doing their own thing. So if you want to do something, our Discord for that is hopping. You will find people to play with. You will find things to do. I think that basically does it for the raid events, or for the events. Now we're going to move on to the raid report. And we still have people raiding. We have about 8 teams that are still doing stuff, which is super exciting, in my opinion. Marginally Competent and Rubber Chicken Coalition have taken down Radiant's Heroic. Bacon and Kegs, Glutton for Punishment, Girls Gone Wild, Fallen Knights, Salad Senate, and Threat Level Midnight have taken down Queen Ashara Heroic. I am predicting that, well, we don't have a show for a bit.
What's up?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I say we don't have a show for a bit. I was going to say I predict our next raid report will be light, but maybe with people coming back, they'll be hyped up and hopping into other things. So I may be wrong on that one.
Be after BlizzCon.
I may be very wrong on that one. But chat room, it's time for my favorite part. It is time for these shout outs. So throw them at me. I'm going to read them up as we gather them. I didn't see too many on Twitter. We just had one, and it was from Tink. Shout out to the Game Case for saying my butt looked good. I'm sure it was all about me. Shout out to Bell Schnickel for ignoring me the last time he drove through Texas. And shout out for Turarts for wearing a V-neck in her last Twitter pic. See you at BlizzCon, Disney on Halloween. So that's what we had. And as for Twitch shoutouts, I am not seeing any yet. So let's give a moment for that to come in and move on to our personal shoutouts.
Sal, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, sure. I want to shout out to Ringmaster Kevin of the Dark Moon Herald. And you know that I've been doing, like tag teaming these podcasts for a little while. And I've really, it's been about 1.5 years since I've been in the Dark Moon Herald. And that's a totally different show from this. But I've had a wonderful time and been honored to be part of it. We announced on Sunday, or Kevin announced, it's his show, that Dark Moon Herald will be shuttering its windows after BlizzCon. It's always been one of my favorite shows. Dark Moon Herald is known for, having these really great bumpers, really good production quality. Kevin has always been so proud of how good that show sounds from day one. Yeah. It's like 8 years old. And I remember being a fan of it. I was living in Korea, listening to this podcast. I remember just when it started. I remember him and Upsana and Skolnick and it's just come time in his life with his kids and family and all the stuff that he needs to put his family first, and not have that particular hobby. So shout out to Kevin. Shout out to the Dark Moon Herald. It's been a wild ride. We have another couple of episodes we're going to do. We're going to hang out at Blizzcon. So if you see Kevin, whether it's online or in person at Blizzcon, do give him a hug and let him know how much you like it. I've loved that show for a long time.
Yeah, I had Kevin on last year, and I enjoyed talking with Kevin, and it's sad to see that show showing, because it's one that has great bumpers, great people, and it's always a fun discussion. Like I like the hoarding and the like what's in your bag. I mean all the segment ideas and that he has going forward.
He's someone where he and I don't always agree on everything, and that's what makes it fun. It's a fun show. So it's bittersweet. But if you want to know more about that, the Dark Moon Herald will probably come out in the next few days, and towards the end of it, he explains like how he came to the decision, and it wasn't lightly. So yeah, just shout out to my boy Kevin.
How about you, T? What do you got for us?
I'm gonna shout out to Rich, Ange, Darren, and Kelsey for playing host while I was in California, and it was really nice. There's no bugs there. Like, you just leave your screen door open, and I'm like, where are the, 50,000 flies that you might kill them all, but you still happen to find 2, every week, and you're like, what is going on? There's no bugs. There's 0 bugs. So that was a surprise. And then a huge shout out to Ash for playing host and everything. Huge shout out to him. It was a nice weekend. So thank you.
Fraz, you got anything for us?
Absolutely. It's this guild, this community. I was in a very not so good place confidence-wise years ago. 2017 was kind of when things shifted, and through the guild, through the community, I am way better. Like, I'm not the same person that I was in 2016, 2017. So thank you to everybody for your encouragement. Thank you for being there, and I'm excited to meet everybody there. But you've also given me a fire to go that I'm going to go until until T and I are 50, and we're going to be playing WoW. We'll be reporting on it, streaming it, and so I am not going to stop now.
Be the longest running podcast in internet history.
Yes, that's my goal.
I want to double Sal's shout out to Kev. You put out a great show, and we're excited to see you heading on to the next big thing. But we're sorry to see you leave the Dark Moon Herald behind, because she's like, everybody so far has said it exactly right. You put on a fantastic show, so thank you for all of that. I'd also like to give a shout out to Ash. He was kind enough to help Silver and I out recently a little bit. We had some last minute items that we were looking to order from some sellers on Etsy and here and there. And sometimes shipping times take a little longer than, they anticipated delivery anytime between the 23rd and the 29th. And the 29th, we're already in the air. So the possibility was there that we would place our order for a couple of things that we really wanted to bring with us to BlizzCon, and we just wouldn't have them yet. So we reached out to Ash, and he was kind enough to let us ship to his place, because we knew he was a local and that he was going to be at the convention, and we basically arrange to just pick up from him. So, man, really do appreciate you helping us out there. It's going, the parcels that you'll be receiving are really going to help us put the finishing touches on something that we've been working on here at the house for a little bit, that we really wanted to have ready for BlizzCon. So that's super exciting. So thank you so much for that, buddy. I'd also like to give a shout out to Eshelon, who always does a really great job at making sure we've got our raid report ready to go. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to be on the show with us recently for a little while, but we still love him, and we still thank him so much for everything he does for the show. And I think that's probably going to wrap us up, right?
We had 2 shout outs real quick from the chat room since we waited.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, that's right, because we totally missed the chat room.
Bear Kitty, shout out to all of you for putting up with Bear Kitty. And then CTRraids, shout out to Fraz for getting to Mod World, a podcast. That is a huge honor. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you. As I said, I'm gonna. It'll be a gnome in the seat, but I want to make every one of those panelists shine.
And now I think we're done.
Now we're ready to wrap up. I'd like to give a big thanks to Navox and Geek Chic Lisa for our theme music. You can find us on Twitter at converted_CTR. Turarts is at Turarts. Sal is at summer_Sal. Esh is at Eshelon. I am at a bonus level. And Frazley, what's the best one for you? I know you said you had a handful.
I would say at Frazley Tastic's the best one because that's actually the one that I told somebody I put more on that one than even my human Twitter.
Right on, man. Sal, when's the next one?
You know what? The next one's going to be the week, not the Monday after BlizzCon, but the one after that. Whatever that is. Whatever that is.
2 Mondays following BlizzCon. It's going to be a good show. We're going to have an awful lot to talk about.
Yeah, we always have a little like show break right there after BlizzCon. So we're going to do that, and apparently Tinkerbell is going to be with us. We're going to be talking about BlizzCon. We're going to be talking about our predictions. Did they come true? We're going to be talking about all the things that happened at BlizzCon, and Tinkerbell's going to be with us there. He's already said bye-bye in the chat room, but go ahead and message us right now to let us know that you were serious, because don't promise me something and not show up. Don't say you're going to do something, because I'll hold you to it. Barry Kitty says it's November 11th. Oh, Tinkerbell has said it for sure. There we go. Yeah, so I can't wait. It'll be great.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and sign off then. For Turarts.
Bye.
For Sal.
See you at BlizzCon.
For Frazley.
Until next time, be awesome.
And for myself. We'll see you next time, everybody.
You can follow the show on Twitter at converted_CTR. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Converted Podcast. And find us on our Twitch channel, Converted Podcast. And join us live every other Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really?
Great show. That went way longer than usual. But I'm fine. I mean, we started a little bit late, but we didn't start that late.
Yeah, I started a little bit late. Technical difficulties being what they are. Speaking of, I did disconnect for a couple minutes there in the middle of the show. I have the full recording of everything that we had, and every time that T apparently was muted on Streamlabs, but not on Discord, I caught that stuff. I have all that in the recording, but there is a dead spot for a small number of minutes in the middle of the show while I was disconnected and couldn't hear you guys talking.
Okay. Oh, but the recording kept going. You were just disconnected?
Yeah, it continued to record. It just recorded nothing because my internet cut out for some reason.
Oh, when it was? Like, what were we talking about at the time?
I don't recall.
Yeah, me either.
It was when you were frozen and making the face, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess I was making a face.
It was when Frazley said the police thing. I don't know what time that was, though. But it would be around that time.
I mean, was it during our predictions part? That was the biggest hunk of the part. I'll figure it out. Mm-hmm.
I'm uploading it now to the folder, so.
Okay. My plan is to get to it tonight. I have a business trip tomorrow.
You also have a house guest still.
Oh, he's not staying over. You! Jesus.
I don't exist.
I know. Oh, he went to my bed and got my comforter out and sleeping on the couch.
About?
I'm talking about you.
I don't exist.
He did pour me a drink in the middle of the show, so he was useful.
There you go.
I like that Bear Kitty said.
Bear Kitty. Jesus is there. No.
Nobody messes with the Jesus.
Listen, he's Jewish. It's not, Jesus isn't,
Who's that?
Bear Kitty is asking
I want to know.
if you're Jesus.
AFTC approved.
You can't even hear what he's saying, right? You just hear him like droning.
Top 3.
Yeah, it's like the trombone from.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus was the last Jew with abs. What? I think that's racist, Bear Kitty.
Oh yeah, definitely racist.
We heard all of that, what he said. Just as a heads up.
So, anybody excited for the fact that on December 3rd, I think, the Marvelous Miss Maisel season 3 comes out?
I'm sorry, what comes out?
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel comes out on season 3.
Season 3 comes out?
Yep, in December.
Speaking of Jewish people, I love that show.
Yeah, that show's amazing. Like I thought Monk was the perfect casting for the dad.
Monk?
Yeah.
Yeah, the actor Monk.
Okay, so
Wait. I know every episode of Monk. I can fucking quote.
dude.
It is, do we have any other post-show things we want to talk about real quick? We went a little long, so I'm, as the head of the stream, gonna say I need to
Tony
wrap it up soon.
Shalhoub
Is my hero.
is the guy who plays Mrs. Maisel's dad. And don't curse!
This is the best
CTR
post-show
rules.
ever.
He wanted to be in the peanut gallery. He's like, hey, can I like
What? I love Monk.
Monk's the best show. I like it too.
They definitely heard what you said. Okay.
Give him these.
Peanut. Why do you have a giant bag of peanuts? That's like a 5-liter bag of peanuts.
I have a giant bag of peanuts because Silver bought 2 giant bags of peanuts.
They were on sale. That's like a legit thing.
Bring them with you. I'll eat all the nuts.
They're for the bird feeders.
Somebody cap that. Sorry, somebody. Tinkerbell.
Tink got it. Tink's on it.
Okay. I need that. No.
They're for the bird feeders.
Sal, do you go through and listen to the VOD on Twitch anymore, or with the recording, are you good?
I only use the recording.
Perfect.
Don't delete the VOD yet.
No, I'm not deleting the VOD.
No, I still port the VOD to YouTube.
Yeah, no, I'm not deleting the VOD. I'm not gonna. This should still all be recorded. That's how my settings are. So. It should.
No,
So
I didn't. Go ahead.
Twitch didn't hear the entire show because there were times when she was muted to Twitch but not to Discord. So we continued to have a conversation, but there's going to be gaps in it on the VOD. And then there's that one gap in the recording. So neither show is a complete show.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
In order to get it all the way up, it's going to have to be spliced in some way.
Oh my god.
And you want us to use his because mine has me yelling at Miles twice when I had muted Discord and completely spaced that I needed to move slobs. So I'm sorry.
How big of a gap are we talking about?
5 minutes,
probably.
2
or 3 minutes.
I'm more likely just to cut that entirely, to be honest.
Whatever decision you make is fine. It's just as long as you know that that's what's happening.
Well, I mean, okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I thought I had muted things.
Well, I'm going to port the Twitch thing to YouTube. So exactly when should I rip T from muting and unmuting?
Oh my
I
gosh.
can link the entire guild. It would be super amazing. Twitter will be weaponized. I like the way Tink thinks.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. My mom yelled twice. It was great.
Tinkerbell hasn't been subbed to World of Warcraft for more than a year.
I know.
But we're still going to have him on next time because he's going to be at BlizzCon. And all he does is play Overwatch with his 16-year-old daughter. She
Aw.
just had a birthday.
The pictures your wife posted and tagged you in on Facebook were super adorable, but I felt weird liking it because it wasn't your post, so I just looked at it.
His daughter looks so much like his wife.
Oh my goodness, it's adorable.
Like, thank God, right? Just such a pretty girl. Such a pretty girl.
All right, I'm gonna wrap us up because I still have a 7-year-old who's awake, so I gotta go deal with that in a moment. So, chat room, this was good. This was great.
Yes.
Nice to be back. And next time it's gonna be probably about this long because there's a lot of stuff that's gonna be announced at BlizzCon. So come in your pajamas. Pajama stream.
Awesome.
You got it.
Cool. Thank you, chat room. You are phenomenal.
Bye.